The morning light filtered softly through the curtains of a quiet New York apartment. Kelly Ripa sat in silence, a cup of untouched coffee cooling in her hands. Outside, the world moved on as usual, cars honking, people rushing, but inside, time had slowed to something fragile, uncertain. For decades, Kelly and Mark had been more than just a television couple. They were symbols of laughter, of love that had survived fame, of the kind of partnership that seemed unshakable. Viewers watched them grow from young soap opera stars on All My Children to devoted parents and professional partners. Their chemistry felt effortless, their love timeless. But behind the smiles and light-hearted banter that filled morning television screens, something darker had been growing, something no camera could capture. It started quietly. Mark would grow tired after small tasks, a short walk, a few stairs, even laughter that once came so easily left him breathless. Kelly noticed. Love gives you that sense, the ability to see the invisible cracks before they break. "Maybe you should get checked," she urged gently one evening. He smiled, brushing her off. "It's nothing, Kel, just tired." But deep down, she knew it wasn't just fatigue. And when the day finally came that he could no longer pretend, the truth arrived like a storm that no one could outrun. The doctor's office was cold, too quiet. Kelly remembered the hum of fluorescent lights, the faint tick of a clock that seemed to mock her heartbeat. And then came the words, heavy, sharp, final. In that moment, the air left the room. The diagnosis was more than medical, it was personal. In an instant, their world shifted. Plans were postponed, routines rewritten, dreams tucked away in drawers. Survival became the only goal. For Kelly, it was the first time she truly understood what fear felt like when it threatened love. The nights that followed were long. She walked hospital corridors that smelled of antiseptic and sorrow, where every beep and monitor pulse carried both hope and dread. Each doorway she passed could hold the news that would shatter her world. Mark lay there, pale, fragile, fighting a battle his body didn't seem prepared to win. Machines hummed beside him, wires tangled like vines trying to hold him to this world. Doctors spoke softly, choosing their words with care, but nothing softened their meaning. At one point, they asked Kelly to decide: aggressive treatment with no guarantees, or a gentler road that promised peace instead of pain. She stared at the papers, her hands trembling. How could anyone choose between hope
That night,
and
Kelly
mercy?
sat by his bed, brushing his hair away from his forehead. His breathing was shallow, uneven. And then, in a voice barely louder than a whisper, she said the words no spouse ever wants to say. "If you need to go, I'll be okay." Her voice cracked as the words escaped. It wasn't surrender, it was love in its purest, most selfless form. She gave him permission to stop fighting if the pain became too much. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she pressed a kiss to his forehead. For a moment, the room was silent except for the slow, steady rhythm of machines. And then, a small squeeze. Kelly froze. His hand, weak but deliberate, closed around hers. It was faint, trembling, but filled with meaning. He wasn't ready to go. He wasn't saying goodbye. That fragile squeeze was his answer. "I'm still here." Her tears turned into quiet sobs, relief, fear, love, all tangled together. Because now the fight would go on. And courage, she realized, wasn't a single act. It was the strength to wake up every day and try again. The nights that followed blurred into one another. Machines replaced lullabies. Prayers filled the silence between each labored breath. Kelly never left his side. She counted each rise and fall of his chest as a victory, small, precious proof that he was still fighting. Then, one night, when things seemed to be getting better, chaos struck. Alarms screamed, nurses rushed in, calling for help. Kelly was pulled away as doctors surrounded the bed. She watched helplessly, her heart pounding, as life hung by a thread in front of her eyes. For a moment, everything inside her shattered. This is it, she thought. This is the goodbye I feared. But then, miraculously, the sounds steadied. The monitor beeped rhythmically again. He was still here. The scare left invisible scars, the kind that linger long after the pain fades. Kelly realized that love in crisis becomes something deeper. It's not about perfection or even happiness. It's about staying, even when you're breaking. And as she sat by his bedside, holding his hand once more, she understood. Love isn't measured in years or fame or moments of laughter. It's measured in the quiet promises whispered between heartbeats. It's the decision to hold on, even when letting go feels easier.